is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
The Filipino American Cancer Care now brings you On the Air with FACC. Tributes and support to those impacted by cancer. On the Air with FACC. The Filipino American Cancer Care on PHLV Radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday once again. Magandang gabi sa ating mga kababayan dito sa Amerika. Good morning, Philippines. Magandang umaga, Pilipinas. My name is Josie Moralidad Azaiman, President and Founder of the Filipino American Cancer Care. Welcome sa ating radio program On the Air with FACC. Ngayong gabi, November 12, 2021. Now, kasama natin from the heart of Maryland, the hunk, very good-looking, Emerich Richie Vicente. Hi, Emerich.
Hello. Wow. Like I should be like doing this on your production. No, welcome. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat here in the US. Good evening. And magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat dyan sa Pilipinas. Couldn't wait. There's so much things to talk about today. We have a really, really special guest. Not only our co-host is a special guest, but also our special guest. Really,
everybody is special.
Everybody's special. And you know what? We cannot forget though, Kuya Ed, we miss you. We're thinking about
Ed is
you.
watching us tonight.
And exactly.
And you know, Emerich, ilang tulog na lang. We're going to celebrate Christmas season
Oh my
and
God, don't say
Thanksgiving.
that.
I
don't
can't
say that. It's so
Oh
quick.
my gosh. You know, pag natulog ako mamaya or the next sabi ko, oh my gosh, I'm going to be 50 in the next 2 years. Oh gosh. Tumatanda tayo, Emerich. Yes.
That's just a number.
Only a number.
Yes. Anyway, we would like to welcome again one of our special co-hosts tonight, and she is very well known in the DMV area. Hindi lamang sa matamis at masarap na pandesal. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pinay Sweet Creation, Belle Sarce. Hi, Belle.
Hi, Josie. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm very excited and thank you so much for inviting me to be your co-host for tonight. I know this is going to be a very nice night, especially with our very special guest. Hi, Emerich. And I can't wait to start the conversation. Sa mga nanonood po sa Pilipinas, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. And all our viewers here sa US, good evening po. And I hope you will stay tuned kasi marami pong mga special topic, you know, that everybody will be makaka-relate po kayo. So, I'm very excited to start the discussion. Thank you.
Diba, Emerich, sanay na ngayon si Belle, ha?
I know.
Ang kanyang assignment next time is going to be one of our special guest singing artists.
Oh my!
You never know, baka mamaya pakantahin natin si Belle. Emerich?
I know. Sabak na yan, sabak.
Sabak na, ha?
Yes.
Kailangan ko ng preparation.
That's right. By the way, we would like to acknowledge ang ating station manager sa PHLV Las Vegas. Walang iba kundi si Johan. Palakpakan natin. Siya yung Christmas, natin, Santa. All right. Now, Belle, would you like to introduce our special guest tonight?
Yes, I'm very, very excited. Tonight's special guest is a 22-year-old with Chinese, Spanish, and Cuban roots. Resilient, compassionate, and survivor would be the three words that define her. She's a firm believer of if a problem arises, come up with a solution and run with it. She lives by
That's
this
right.
mantra since she was 13 years old when she was diagnosed with a gastrointestinal tumor, and her life would never be the same. The word cancer is one of the scariest things for someone to hear, and so when it knocks on your door, you cry, hope, struggle, but above all else, you look for the cure. From that moment on, she has lived day by day to her utmost potential because she believes that the path we choose to embark on is the one that we will work for. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our special guest for tonight, Miss Cynthia Linnette Lau.
Hi.
Hi, Cynthia. Good evening. Cynthia, can we hear you, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, much better.
All right. Mabuhay Philippines. Hi, Josie. Hi, I'm Rich. Hi, Belle.
Hi,
Okay.
Cynthia, welcome.
And you
Welcome.
know what? She is going to join the Filipino American Cancer Care as one of the ambassadors.
I am. I'm so excited to be part. And
You're still qualified as our youth ambassador. You're still young.
thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here with you guys and sharing a little bit of me, of who I am and my story. And I love getting to interact with people from other cultures and who have a passion for what they do. I think that's
Mhm. Do you have Filipino friends?
I do have Filipino friends. I do have a Filipino friend. You know, one of my dear, dear friends is Kristen Regalado, and you know her.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kristen's been a dear friend and actually one of the designers I worked with for.
She's watching us right now. Hi, Kirsten.
Hi,
Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
Kristen actually made this possible. She was the one who introduced us. And it's been a great journey. And I've been actually to the
Perfect.
Philippines. I know the Philippines.
You have. That's awesome.
Which
Yeah.
part of the Philippines you visited?
So I competed in 2018 in Miss Intercontinental for Cuba, and then I stayed there, and in total I was there for about 3 months. And I got
Wow.
some areas of Philippines. Palawan is absolutely stunning. I was in Manila for the majority of my time, but I saw Palawan, I saw Boracay, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous locations. So definitely want to go back. You guys have a lot of islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 7,100 islands.
100 islands.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If it's
Not
high tide or low
yes.
tide.
And not only that, not including the island we have inside the house, like in our kitchen, right?
Have you learned any Filipino words while you were in Manila or in Philippines during your stay?
Maraming salamat, mabuhay, salamat po. So I know like very.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Good.
So you know what guapo means, di ba? You know what it means? Guapo.
I can't hear you. Come again?
You know what guapo means?
No, I don't.
Guapo?
Uh-oh.
Guapa?
Rich. Guapo and rich.
Guapo.
Wait, in Spanish, that's like lindo. Like.
Yeah, lindo. Que rico. Anyways.
You know how to speak
Okay.
Spanish.
You
You're
know,
rich. You know how to speak Spanish.
poquito español, señorita. But no, I was gonna ask because there's a lot of listeners and viewers who are from who speak Spanish, number one, but we have some friends from Cuba that's watching as well. So
Yes.
you gotta say something to them, and we'll give you a few seconds for you.
Okay. And then we're all gonna speak in Spanish.
A toda mi gente cubana, gracias por conectarse. Estoy muy orgullosa de estar aquí con este grupo de gente maravillosa. Gracias por apoyarme durante este transcurso y durante todo lo que siempre hago. Para mí es un honor tener el apoyo del público de mi país y también de internacionalmente. Ha sido una experiencia muy linda hasta ahora y bueno, disfruten esta entrevista con mis amigos de Philippine American Cancer Care.
What does it mean?
Excelente.
Gracias.
Gracias.
You know, I remember when I interviewed, I don't know if you know Fernando Carrillo from this soap opera Marimar and Thalia.
Oh my God,
Rosalinda. And then there was a press conference. Everybody needs to have a translator in Spanish because, most of us in the Philippines don't speak Spanish, although we have been under the colony of the Spaniards. So when it was my turn, there were only like 5 people who's about to ask questions, who were allowed to ask questions.
Yeah.
So when I saw Fernando Carrillo, I don't even know what to say to him. But I want to ask a question. And I said, okay, what am I going to say? And I said, Buenos dias, mi amigo señorito, mi amiga, yo sin moralidad, porque de tal manera amo Diyos al mundo que had dado yun iginito para que todo, akiki en él, mas tinga a vida eterna. And he was like, you know what it means, Emmerich? Emmerich, you know what it means?
I have no idea.
The world that he gave his only begotten son. That whoever believes, isn't it?
That's
Cynthia?
a good one. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one to
That's a good
capture
one.
the attention of a Mexican actor, right?
He is a Mexican actor. Fernando Carrillo is a Mexican actor. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, Emmerich, we're going to speak Spanish tonight.
Oh my gosh. This is what you call the literally nosebleed.
This is going to be fun, Emmerich.
This is going to be our first question. Now, we've been asking you a lot of questions, but this is the official question.
Si puede, Emmerich.
What was that?
Si puede.
Si puede what?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. So my question for you, Cynthia, is for the benefit of our audience today. If you can tell us a little bit about you, where you grew up, things that your favorite you like to do. Of course, the floor is yours. You can also speak in Spanish if you want.
Hola, hello. You guys know my name is Cynthia Linnett Lau. I'm currently also Miss Earth Cuba 2021, competing in this year's Miss Earth virtual competition. And I've worked very hard, but above all, I'm also a cancer survivor. I am a businesswoman, and I consider myself a perseverant, goal-oriented, empowered woman. I'm a thrill seeker. I love adventures. I have traveled to more than 25 countries. I was born in Cuba, migrated to the US when I was 5 years old with my parents, and I have grown up here. I have been back to my country and have the honor of experiencing the Cuban culture. But aside from that, I've also experienced other cultures because I've been very well versed in travel. And I'm also an actress and a model. And I always say I have a passion between philanthropy, which involves cancer research and environmental advocacies, and the world of the arts and business. That's what my life's purpose is, and it's a mixture of those things that truly make me proud in who I am today.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah. So how long have you been joining, have you been competing with these beauty pageants? And who motivated you to join beauty contests?
So I started competing, I'm 25 now. Even though I may look a little younger, I'm older, but I'm 25 now. I started competing my first pageant when I was 18 years old, 18 or 19. And my mom signed me up without me knowing. I had no idea. She signed me up for a local pageant. It was called Miss Carnival Miami. She signed me up and she's like, you know what, you're gonna compete. And then I'm like, what do I do? What is a pageant? I've never, I was never into the world of pageantry. And then she's like, well, I believe you can do it. And then that was my first pageant, and I placed as one of the finalists. I was very excited. And then after that, I was like, I absolutely love pageantry. So it became a part of me for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first competition.
So what's with a pageantry that you love most or you like most?
The pageant that I enjoyed the most so far, Miss Earth, all the way. So the Miss Earth competition for me has been a blessing because I have worked so hard to bring a voice not only for myself, but for my country. I always say I'm representing 11.3 million people in this competition, but I'm also a representative internationally. I'm a World Wildlife Fund ambassador. and I worked for climate change, and I also created a project called the EcoPact Initiative, which promotes environmental social justice and current crises that are going on by partnering with organizations, individuals, and government entities, one action at a time. So that's really my focus throughout the Miss Earth competition. But aside from that, as you know, I'm also a cancer survivor, and I also work with other organizations as an ambassador, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the American Cancer Society, and now the Filipino American Cancer Care. I'm very excited as to be able to blend both of my passions together for the environment and cancer as a cancer survivor. Because by taking care of one, I am promoting the health of the human race. So for me, that's extremely important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, Emmerich, I feel like we are judges tonight because we keep
I know,
on
we're
asking
asking
her a
certain
lot of questions.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
And you know, Josie, your question is kind of two parts too, because one of the, if you think about it, when you describe your competition in Miss Earth, yes, Miss Earth is your favorite competition now, but within that competition, what part of the competition is your favorite?
Favorite, yeah.
So definitely when I am able to speak my truth, when I'm able to use my voice for and what I have worked so hard for. I think that's truly the essence of pageantry, when you're able to use that platform on a bigger level to show people who you really are, because we're all beautiful, we're all hardworking women, but what sets you apart? It's that authenticity, that compassion, that empathetic attitude and respect you have for others, and then your story. My story is individual to all the other contestants, and everyone has their each story to tell. So for me, being able to personalize my story and bring it forth in an international level, I think it's something great and such a fun.
Mm-hmm. You know, this is a common question when you join the beauty pageants. And most people would ask you, what will you do if you win the title of Miss Earth 2020?
Wow. No, you can switch around your answer because of, you know, you don't want to give that away.
Something with that, Emmerich, okay? Because a lot of people are watching us tonight.
I know.
So I am definitely somebody who, if I were to be the next Miss Earth, and even more so after that, you know, I would definitely want to carry on my empathetic, authentic, and respectful nature. But aside from that, I want to carry my project, which is the EcoPact Initiative. You know, I want to take it on an international level. I truly want to partner with international organizations. I'm currently working on a platform that is going to work internationally for this project, but I also want to partner with different organizations and bring forth my advocacies on an international level. And the Miss Earth platform truly has that ability. Right now, I'm working more within a community setting, and I truly want to target the private sector and different sectors that perhaps you don't have access to because we're limited on certain resources. So I think as an ex-Miss Earth, I have a lot of characteristics and qualities. I am empathetic, I am authentic, I am relatable, I am a girl who creates action, and I think that is truly what you need in a contestant. You need a contestant who creates action, not just uses her words. And I think I want to go above my voice. My voice is a great asset and it's a great start, but truly utilizing what I have created and the tools that I have now and I have developed throughout the competition and prior to the competition as the next Miss Earth is truly my secret sauce to succeed as your next Miss Earth and after that as well.
Mm-hmm. And you are a cancer warrior and a cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Belle, it's your
Belle.
turn.
Yeah. So if you give, I know you're focused on the Miss Earth pageant system right now, but if you've given an opportunity, do you see yourself joining the Miss Universe as well? Or is that something that the next 5 years, what you want to do?
I don't know where life, I always say, never say never. You don't know where life is going to take you.
Mm-hmm.
I've always believed that the universe puts things in your path for a reason. Being in this competition came to me as a complete surprise, as a gift. And truly, it made me proud. And I think I'm meant to be here and in this organization for a reason. So to compete on a Miss Universe level, it would be a dream, but I'm not sure if it's something I would pursue after Miss Earth. I'm more than happy currently, but realistically, this might be my last competition.
Yeah.
This might be my last. I have a lot of other projects I want to work on and fully devote my time. I'm still young. I could compete. I have 3 years. You never know, but I do have this feeling in my heart that's full and whole. I'm very happy with my current performance and the support and just the organization I chose to represent. And I'm very happy currently. So I think this is my last competition.
So one question that if Ed is going to be here right now, his question to you is, have you had and what is your favorite Filipino food?
Oh, okay. So there's this, it's different, but there's like egg and it has like chicken in it. I don't know the name.
It's balut.
That's
what it is.
It's balut. The balut. So have you had it when you were in the Philippines? Did you try it?
I did have it, and I actually liked it.
Oh my goodness!
Wow, that's impressive.
She's very good
brave and she's very adventurous, huh?
I
can't even eat that. What's that embryo of the duck?
The cheek, yeah.
Of the
chicken, the duck or the chicken.
When I landed in Philippines, so I flew from Miami to New York, and then I took New York to Hong Kong. Spent like 2 days in Hong Kong, and I got to see not a lot. It's part of my route, so I did want to spend at least a day. And then I flew Hong Kong to Philippines, and one of the first things they told me it was you have to try balut, and I was like, interesting. I was like, what is that? Because I didn't know what it was. They just said the name, and I was like, they're like, oh, it's an egg and there's chicken in it. And I was like, I'm super down. I'm very adventurous in that way, and I love to try new things. And I was like, yeah. And I actually really liked it.
And you know, that's actually an energy booster. It's so high in everything.
So high in protein,
calcium, and cholesterol.
It's a lot of
highs. But
I completely forgotten the name. Now I know it. But yeah, it's exactly that. I always describe it, and I'm like, okay, so it's this specific food. It's like this, but I always forget the name. Now I know it, and now I can't forget it.
So can you say balut?
Balut
with a T at the end.
Can you say that?
Okay, so
balut.
Is it BALLUT or is it BALUT?
BALUT.
The second one.
Because in the Philippines they say it, balut.
Yeah, we have this vendor that goes around the street with a basket at night, and they yell it out, balut. And then there's another egg called penoy. It's the penoy is the egg, but it's yellow yolk already, like still yellow.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's soft. So you basically literally like almost drink it. So it's penoy. So it's balut penoy.
And Rich, why don't you try? Can you say balut penoy?
Balut penoy.
Well, ikaw naman kasi mayroon kang store. You have a store. Now, maybe this is your turn to say balut penoy.
I actually have that in store. So if Emirates, if you want to try it, stop by the store. I'll let you. We have that.
Well, benta mo yung balut. Why don't you say it? Balut penoy.
Balut penoy. Balut.
Cynthia, can you say balut penoy?
Pinoy or penoy?
Huh? What did you say, Cynthia?
Balut penoy is how you say.
I love it.
That's how you guys said it. I was just trying to imitate you.
Yeah. So I think it's best time now to talk about your other journey, about your beauty,
cancer
being
diagnosis.
a queen beauty contest journey, and then now it's your cancer journey. One thing that we always ask our survivors is, before you went to the doctor, was there any symptoms that you feel and describe it to us, because this will help our listeners and our
Mhm.
viewers to kind of educate themselves as well.
Yeah. How did you discover what you were suffering was
Mhm.
cancer?
So, for me, it was a little bit different because I was so young. I was 13. So I was at a stage where I was explaining to Josie earlier that I was entering the development stage, the puberty stage, my teenage years. So for me, there were things that didn't feel right. And this was a week before I ended up in the hospital. I told my mom and I was telling her, I'm like, Mom, I don't feel well. I started feeling extremely tired. Like if my body had like a lot of pounds, and it felt just like a heavy weight consistently.
Mhm.
And I've always been a very energetic girl. I've always been extremely energetic. And, following the next week, I would fall asleep in class and I would get home and all I was able to do was sleep. I would just sleep and sleep. That's all. I started losing my appetite and I didn't have pain, but I was extremely tired to the point where lifting my arm was hard. That's how it was for me. And the reason being was that when my parents took me to the hospital, because a parent knows their child. So my parents took me to the hospital and I'm tan. So I looked white as a wall. I looked extremely pale and I looked very white and I was just sleeping all the time. No kid sleeps for 10, 12 hours a day. That's just
right.
So my mom and I was falling asleep in school too. Like I would just sleep. I was going to school and I would sleep. And that week, my mom, the teachers told my mom, like, okay, something's not right with Cynthia. And I told her, I'm like, I don't, like, my body doesn't feel well. Like I can't do anything. It just felt tired. Like, but beyond tired. I know what tired feels like. This felt like I couldn't do anything. It was just like lifting my arm, like just was like.
You can do it. It's a work for you.
It was a workout for me to just do this, when I've always been so active. I've been a dancer all my life. So I know what being tired feels like, but this was on a whole other level. So they took me to the hospital and they found out my hemoglobin was like 6. So that's extremely low. We're supposed to have a blood count of 12. I was at a 6. So a little bit lower. And they told my mom that had another day go by, I could have ended like in a coma because it honestly is very dangerous to have your blood counts that low. So at that moment, obviously something's not right. And they started running all sorts of tests, like all sorts of tests. I was in the hospital for an entire week. They couldn't really figure out what type of cancer it was. At first they thought it was lymphoma, then they thought it was leukemia. Because of my age and a lot of my symptoms related to a lot of blood cancers, they thought it was that. It ended up being a gastrointestinal stromal tumor. But the only way they saw this was through a laparoscopy. A laparoscopy is through the outside of your belly button. They go in with a camera and they're able to see it that way. And then the stomach was on the outside wall of my stomach. The tumor was on the outside wall of my stomach. So that's how they found out.
That must be very devastating for your parents to find out that their daughter is only 13 years old, has a cancer.
It was. And, actually, when we were in the room, I was there. My mom was there. My dad was there. My aunt was there. My aunt was also in there. And for me, it was just like, I didn't cry at that moment. I didn't really understand yet what was going on.
Right.
I didn't fully understand. I had heard about cancer and, I had heard the topic, but when you're a kid, you don't really think about illnesses. You don't think about any of that or that they're ever going to affect you. So I didn't really understand fully. So it took some time for me to comprehend everything after that. But my mom, you could tell she was holding back her tears. Like my mom specifically, you could tell she was holding back tears. So that for her was really hard. My aunt broke down and my dad has always been very strong, but you could tell specifically my mom, she was shattered. Like you could just see it in her eyes, but she was trying to be strong for me. And I was just I wasn't happy, but I was confused. And I was like, okay, so what next? That's literally my question to the doctor was, what does that mean? And what's next?
So do you remember a specific moment when you were hit by a realization that you have a cancer?
I would say for me, it was the moment truly hit me when, so that was the first time that the doctor kind of told us we had a cancer. And I came back, not the next day, but the day after for blood work, because they were going to start running tests and decide what treatment plan. And that's really when I started to realize that like I was sick, because I would go to the doctor, like I was there, like I practically was living there. So for me, that was truly when I started realizing that I was sick, like that I was sick. It was normal for me, and that was truly the moment where I was like, oh, okay, so I'm sick. And then I eventually broke down. But it wasn't until I really started going consecutively, like more so that first week and second week, that I was like, I'm really sick. Like, this is not just a regular routine checkup. This is not, no, I'm sick. And that's when I broke down. And then my mom truly broke down with me, but they explained it to me. Because I was 13, I was able to understand. They didn't sugarcoat anything. My mom's like, you have a tumor, you got to fight it. You got to work through it. You got to go through your treatment, but you're going to be okay. She's
telling it to you the Cuban style.
Yeah, she told it. She didn't sugarcoat anything. My doctors didn't sugarcoat anything. I feel because I was 13, they felt that I could understand it and that I could handle it. So at that age, the doctors, you got to hand it to them because you have a child in front of you, so it's hard for them. But they also, at 13, you comprehend what's going on. You understand more, and you connect more. So it does hit you harder because you're going to miss out on quite a couple of things throughout that next year, and you're at the stage where like you want to experience so much. So for me, that hit me even harder. But I think just having my family's support and the constant and just everybody showering me with positive energy, that truly helped my mindset to a whole other level. And that's why I say the power of mind is something so unbelievable, because when you focus on that positive energy, everything changes. And that truly for me was the key.
Belle?
Yeah, so you were so young, right? You were 13, and then they're doing, during your treatment process, like I said, you have full support of your family and friends. But did you face any some sort of obstacle, like one day during the treatment process, you gotta stop, like think about it? And if you did, how did you overcome those obstacles, if any?
I never, for me, I made a deal with my mom, and I think it helped me. And for me, I knew I was sick, but I never said I was sick. And that truly helped me. I never wanted to think of myself differently, even though I'm just going through something. Yeah. That's the way I saw it. Now, I understand that's not everybody's mentality, but that's what worked for me. And had it not been for that, I feel like I wouldn't have been here today. That's what I found truly helped me. And I didn't let it stop me. I couldn't go to school for an entire year, but my homeschool teacher would come to the hospital and work with me. I took my exams in the hospital. So I was able to pass my grades. I passed with honors, my classes and everything, and it was not stopping me. I told my mom, I don't want this to stop. And whenever I could, and they said, you can have a day to do something, I fully enjoyed it to the max. I never thought to myself, you can't do this, even though it was harder for me because of the treatment, because of my surgeries. For me, it was something that I wasn't gonna win me over. And at a young age, my mom saw that in me, and I've always very much been like that. So for me, that's truly when I realized how strong I was. For me, I was like, wow, okay. After all that journey, I realized that's a crazy mindset. But my mom helped instill that in me. So for me, that's something unbelievable. And the power of the mind, I again say it, for me was everything.
How long were you in treatments?
So I had a year of treatment the first time around. I had a surgery, I had radiation, and I had oral chemotherapy. After a year, I had like a period of 6 months where after that year, I went into what's called remission. And then I had about maybe like 8 months in remission, but then the cancer came back. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it spread to my lung and my liver. So then after that, I went through 3 rounds of aggressive radiation within separate time periods. And I kept going, and they dubbed my dosage for the oral chemotherapy, and then I went through another aggressive surgery. So in total, I had around 5 aggressive radiations, and then I stayed in oral chemotherapy for a long period of time. I never stopped. The dosage just kind of kept going up. And then I had 2 major surgeries, 2 big surgeries, not counting the other medical procedures I needed or the amount of blood transfusions I needed and things like that. But yeah, it was different things through a period of time, from the time where I was like 13 to 18 years old.
To 18 years old.
What were the side effects? I'm sorry, Emerich. What were the side effects of treatments in your body?
So my chemotherapy at first, when I started in the lower dosage, the most I would get was nausea and tiredness. As they upped the dosage, a couple of my hairs started falling out, but my skin pigmentation started to change, and I just always felt tired and I was vomiting more. So they had to kind of re-change the treatment. And then radiation, I was tired all the time. I had to take nausea medication before I would go in. And then I was just tired all the time. It was like a period of tiredness, like unbelievable tiredness. Just like you've had like weight on you of like, I can't even explain it. It's just like something you have to go through to truly understand how tired your body feels. So it's crazy. It does feel, it's just tiredness all around. With radiation, the thing I felt the most, aside from nausea, I always felt tired. It was just like that tiredness all over again. And
Cynthia, during your journey, because you're from 13 years of age till 18, was there any discussion in the family of history of your family and who had cancer in the past and all that conversation with the family?
So so during that time, I went to the National Institute of Health, and they ran genetic testing on my mom. My parents divorced when I was 5 years old, so my dad was living elsewhere at that time. He was never able to get it done. On my mom's side, there are a couple of people who have had cancer, but not my specific type of cancer. I got treated in Nick Children's Hospital by the most amazing medical team. And what happened was, for that specific type of tumor, I was the first ever case in 2009. So I was the first ever child, because my type of tumor is a tumor that comes out in adults. It was not seen in children. It's very rare. And it's because you lack a protein. So I lack the ASH protein or something. I don't remember exactly. It's SHC, something like that. I lack a specific type of protein, but I only found that out up until like about a year ago, because my tumor got sent into testing and I lacked that specific protein. And that's why in me, it came out at that age. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's genetic. You know, it's just I lack that specific type of protein. So that was my onset. But with every cancer is different. Not one cancer is caused by the same reasoning. So everybody's journey is different. We all have good cells that sometimes they decide to react because of something, but it's different in everybody. But for me, it was extremely rare. And my medical team actually had to work with Jackson Memorial Hospital doctors, adult doctors, to do my surgery and create my treatment plan, because they had never seen this tumor in a child before. So
Belle?
Yeah, so it sounds like it's like a long treatment process, right? So during the treatment process, were there any programs or any special services offered to you that would help, the treatment process during that time that you can remember?
I had, when I was a kid and I was going through this, Nicholas Children's Hospitals had a lot of therapy for children. They had art therapy, music therapy.
Mm.
Those for me were everything, because I'm such a creative person. I'm a creative mind and I thrive on creativity. So for me, that was always special. Whenever I would get to paint and we'd have somebody come in and teach us how to paint something, or just music therapy where we sing, dance, they'd have like sometimes celebrities come in and we can sit down and talk to them. For kids, that's really what they did. I'm not sure if things have changed, shifted a little now, but for kids, that's really what they did. They would also bring in clowns. I mean, I always felt a little bit older for clowns just because I was 13, but I enjoyed seeing it. They had people that would come in and talk to you. And if you needed anything and your parents felt that you needed therapy to understand your process, or they call it counseling. They had counselors available at all times for this process. And I think that's something so great, because truly talking perhaps to somebody else that isn't somebody who's there with you all the time does help. I personally didn't talk to a counselor, but when you grow up in a hospital, you meet people who are going through this cancer journey with you, and not everybody responds the same way, and you have to respect that. Everybody has their own time to cope, their own time of acceptance, and their own journey, their own process. But for me, some of the kids that were going through it that were a little bit older, I had met this boy who he had leukemia. And at the time I was 13, 14, and he was 18 years old. And it was his second time fighting leukemia. And he was seeing a counselor and it was helping him, that completely, he said, to him, that was his journey, his process, and it did help him. So I think that was something so great. So having all these accesses is something amazing. I know that for adults, when they go into other centers, they have palliative care, they have holistic therapies like acupuncture. Things like that do truly help, but it's really up to you to find through that journey what is helping you heal your mind above all else.
So in your journey, what have you learned from this experience?
That's a good question. I truly have learned, for me, it was very much, I keep saying it, but for me, it's the power of the mind and how you are capable of so much more than you realize. Our bodies can be put through so much, because my body was put through a high level of toxicity, like many cancer patients are put through. The journey of cancer, the cure for cancer right now, is surrounded through chemotherapy, radiation, which are toxic chemicals that are going into your body. So when you put your body through those levels, you truly have to learn, and you learn how to fight day in and day out. So everything else, and you learn to see life from a different angle. The smaller things aren't important anymore, it's more so you have this bigger thing to focus on, and it's you truly learn how to accept yourself and how to fight for what you want. For me, that was the journey. I learned to love myself. I learned to fully accept myself, but above all, I learned to truly learn how to heal myself mentally and physically. So for me, it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. At the moment, do you have any fears that cancer might come back?
And that's something that everybody always says, when you have a cancer, an aggressive type of cancer, or just cancer in general, it can always come back. Even after the 5 years of remission, it could come back 10 years later. It could come back 15 years later. That's something at a risk. Your risk lowers, but it is still a possibility. I'm personally not scared just because I do take care of myself and I have my routine checkups for a reason. I really do take care of myself. I'm not scared. I've been through it twice. So for me at this point, it's not so much about being scared. It's more so thinking about it, and it's like, what's it going to keep me from doing, you know? And it scares me more, like having my family stop the life that I'm currently building, because it is a stop, but it doesn't really scare me just because I've been through it twice and I know what it is. I know the struggles, I know the treatment, I know the feeling. It's completely different. I'm not scared. Thankfully, to this day, amen. I'm healthy, and you know, that's a blessing to say, because for so many years I wasn't. But today I'm extremely healthy, and I'm learning to take care of myself still, day in and day out. I try every day to learn ways where I can better my health. And I think something very important that people need to aware about is that preventative care is the first step. So getting those checkups done early. Don't go a year without going to the doctor and getting your blood work, your at least one imaging. Like, it is so important. Early screening truly saves a lot of lives, and I am such an advocate for that and a proponent for early screening, because you really never know where your body's at unless you get it checked. You can feel great, but you don't know what's going on inside. There are micro things that you can't see, you know? So for me, for a period of time, I was feeling great, but from one day to the next, my body completely changed. And it was just, I started just feeling tired, and I thought I was just tired because I was involved in so many things, you know? So you really have to be aware and take care of yourself. That isn't enough. You do need to go to the doctor. You do need to get those checkups done. And I know not everyone likes the doctor. People can be scared of the doctor, but for me, at this point, doctors are my best friends. You know, I see the doctor as like a place where my life is only being helped. And I'm at a point where, like, I do get my checkups done. I get my scans done, you know, and I follow that. I screen myself. Even for breast cancer, I know how to screen myself because I have a higher risk just because I've been through cancer twice in the past. And it does run in my family. So, you know, it's being aware of those things, being aware of your family history, early screening, early detection, and getting those regular checkups done. It is so important. Those are some steps that people can take to truly keep themselves aware of cancer. And the change from discovering cancer at an early stage to a later stage is such a big difference, such a big difference. So those are things people should really be aware of, because it does save a lot of lives. It completely saves so many lives.
Wow. And Rich, I think I'm just going to listen to Cynthia. I'm not going to ask questions.
It was really good. You hit a lot of great points for our listeners and our viewers while I was choking here. I'm sorry. But you know, those are important things, like the checkup. But I was gonna ask you, Cynthia, with your competing with, well, you competed several times on beauty pageant, Miss Earth right now, but before that, Miss Earth Cuba. Now the pressure. What is your medical team telling you about all of the pressure of the pageantry? Even though this is all, you know, virtual, there's still a pressure in there, because you know, you gotta look good in the camera.
That's why Rich, me and Belle are not going to join beauty contest.
Yeah.
Too much pressure. We can't handle it.
I've been blessed to have a medical team that supports everything that I want to do. Right now, I can't compare it to to when I was undergoing treatment, because at that point you aren't susceptible, your immunity is not the same. You know, it's different. It's different journeys, different periods. And when you're going through cancer, you know what you can do and what you can't do, right? So obviously you are immunocompromised when you're going through treatment. So if I, God forbid, you know, undergoing something like that, realistically, you can compete in a beauty pageant, but it wouldn't be the first thing you're thinking about. Now I'm at a stage where I feel completely healthy. I feel empowered. I mean, you know, and I've gone through it twice. I'm healthy. My medical team supports me fully. Right now, I'm not sick anymore. I truly am not. So I'm in a stage where I want to do what I want to do, compete for my dreams, work towards what I've worked for, you know, and because when you're undergoing through treatment, you do stop and your life does stop in a lot of areas. So you don't want to waste that time. You know, when you're healthy, for me, I don't want to waste that time. I want to take advantage. I want to compete. I want to win Miss Earth. I want to build my business. I want to advocate for cancer research. I want to advocate for the EcoPact initiative, and as a World Wildlife Ambassador, you know, I want to be in movies because I love
and
that.
you want to be a part of the Filipino American Cancer Care.
Of course. I'm also my advocacy work with cancer as well. So yeah, I want to do so many things and so many projects and so many things that I'm passionate about. And so for me, I'm at a stage right now, and I feel blessed to say, where I can do that. Where a couple of years back, you know, I had great opportunities throughout my teenage years that I had to turn down. And I couldn't do it because, one, physically my body wasn't there, because I was tired all the time. I wasn't healthy. I was immunocompromised. And two, you know, mentally, it's a process. It's a healing journey. So it's a journey of healing internally as well. So right now, I'm not there anymore, thankfully, and I'm at a place where I feel empowered. I feel confident. I want to achieve my dreams, and I don't want to stop. You know, so for me, it's exciting. It's exciting to be able to be at this stage in my life. You know, I don't want to go through that again, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It's such difficult. It's not easy. It happens. You know, cancer doesn't have a race, an ethnicity, an age, a nationality. It affects anyone worldwide. We all know or have met somebody who has been through cancer or has had somebody, you know, who suffered through cancer. It's not a bipartisan issue. You know, it's something that everybody can.
It's not a climate change issue.
No. Completely different.
It's something that everybody has a story, and they know somebody who suffered through this and whose life has been changed by it above all. So I think that's truly the connection that there is. But for me, as somebody who's been through it, I can honestly tell you I'm at a point where I don't want it to stop me. You know, I don't want it to let me from doing things that I've always dreamed about. And I've worked so hard to get to this point. So no, I'm not stopping now.
Very well said. No, very well said.
Excellent. And
Excellent.
I'm really hoping that you're going to get the title of Miss Earth 2021 because we need somebody like you, you know, to represent the cancer survivors, warriors, and you've been there. And now you're living your life to the fullest.
Yeah, it's a thankfully a good one.
Okay, so before we end the show, or anyway, thank you so much, Cynthia, for sharing your time and story. I feel like we need another hour from the PHLV radio to continue this interview. And we are going to watch Cynthia Linnett Lau on November 21 next week, right?
Next week, yes.
At 9 p.m., right?
9 p.m. here in Miami in Cuba, and then it's 10 a.m. Philippine time. So that's why the time change difference, but I'm so excited. It could be at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. and I will be there.
Don't forget us when you get the title of Miss Earth 2021. All right. Thank you so much, Cynthia and Emmerich and Belle. We have a special guest singing artist tonight, one of our FACC Young Ambassadors from Texas. Jewel Ingle, and she has a special song for our special guest, Cynthia Linnett Lau. And thank you again, everyone, for being with us on this radio show on the air with FACC. Thank you so much, Jewel Ingle. She's only 10 years old and one of our young ambassadors. Again, on behalf of FACC, thank you so much. Cynthia, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Yes, Emmerich.
Yeah, thank you all so much for viewing and listening to us. And Cynthia, thank you. Good luck to the competition on the 21st. We will be watching you.
Looking forward to having you guys watch and support. Thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun. Thank you, Belty. Thank you, Josie.
Thank you. And Belle?
Thanks again for having me tonight. And thank you for all the viewers tonight. And Cynthia, thank you for joining us. Emmerich, thank you. And Josie, thank you. Good night, everyone.
We will see you again next Friday dito pa rin sa PHLV Radio on the air with FACC.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Cynthia. Thank you.
Bye, Cynthia.
Good luck, Cynthia.
Thank you.
The Filipino American Cancer Care has just brought you On the Air with FACC, tributes and support to those impacted by cancer. On the Air with FACC, the Filipino American Cancer Care on PHLV Radio.